ഓം പാർത്ഥായ പ്രതിബോധിതാം ഭഗവതാ നാരായണേന സ്വയം വ്യാസേന ഗ്രഥിതാം പുരാണമുനിന മധ്യേ മഹാഭാരതം അദ്വൈതാമൃതവർഷിണീം ഭഗവതി അഷ്ടാദശാധ്യായിനി അംബ ത്വാമനുസന്ധദാമി ഭഗവദ്ഗീതേ ഭവദ്വേഷിണീ. നമോസ്തു വ്യാസവിശാലബുദ്ധേ ഫുല്ലാരവിന്ദായതപത്രനേത്ര യേന ത്വയാ ഭാരതതൈലപൂർണ പ്രജ്വാലിതോ ജ്ഞാനമയപ്രദീപ പ്രപന്നപാരിജാതായ സ്തോത്രവേത്രൈകപാണയേ ജ്ഞാനമുദ്രായ കൃഷ്ണായ ഗീതാമൃതദുഹേ നമഃ. സർവോപനിഷദോ ഗാവോ ധോക്താ ഗോപാലനന്ദന പാർത്ഥോ വത്സസുധീർഭോക്താ ദുഗ്ധം ഗീതാമൃതം മഹത്. വസുദേവസുതം ദേവം കംസചാണൂരമർദ്ദനം ദേവകീ പരമാനന്ദം കൃഷ്ണം വന്ദേ ജഗദ്ഗുരും. ഭീഷ്മദ്രോണതടാ ജയദ്രഥജല ഗാന്ധാരനീലോത്പല ശല്യഗ്രാഹവതീ കൃപേണ വഹനി കർണേന വേലാകുല. അശ്വത്ഥാമവിഘർണഘോരമകര ദുര്യോധനാവർത്തിനി സോത്തീർണാ ഖലു പാണ്ഡവൈ രണനദി കൈവർത്തക കേശവ. പാരാശര്യവചസരോജമബലം ഗീതാർത്ഥഗന്ധോത്കടം നാനാഖ്യാനകേസരം ഹരികഥാസംബോധനാബോധിതം. ലോകേ സജ്ജനഷത്പദൈരഹരഃ പേവീയമാനം മുദാ ഭൂയാത് ഭാരതപങ്കജം കലിമലപ്രധ്വംസിനഃ ശ്രേയസേ. മൂകം കരോതി വാചാലം പങ്കും ലംഘയതേ ഗിരിം യത്കൃപാതമഹം വന്ദേ പരമാനന്ദമാധവം. യം ബ്രഹ്മാ വരുണേന്ദ്രരുദ്രമരുതസ്തുന്വന്തി ദിവ്യൈസ്തവൈ വേദൈ സാംഗപദക്രമോപനിഷദൈർ ഗായന്തി യം സാമഗാ. ധ്യാനാവസ്ഥിതതദ്ഗതേന മനസാ പശ്യന്തി യം യോഗിനോ യസ്യാന്തം ന വിദുഃസുരാസുരഗണ. ദേവായ തസ്മൈ നമഃ. ദേവായ തസ്മൈ നമഃ. ഓം ദേവായ തസ്മൈ നമഃ. ഹരി ഓം. Misery and suffering in life. Every human being undergoes through such a challenge. Who is there without undergoing misery and suffering in life? In the place of material world, in the material world, inherently the problem of misery and suffering will happen. This is inherently happening and this is inescapable. As I mentioned, it affects everybody, right? Affects in the sense, in the physical way or in the psychological way. Vedanta says that there are three problems that we all are suffering in life. What are these three problems? Adhyatmika, Adibhaudikam and Adidevika. Adhyatmikam is all about the problems created by the body and the mind within ourselves, right? the problems that we undergo, the problems with the body, the conditions of the body, the thoughts that we have, the emotions that we have, and the mind undergoing the problems, thinking about ourselves, thinking about the future, worrying about something. So these all are at the level of adhyatmika, body and mind. And adi bhaudikam. Adi bhaudikam is mainly caused by the people around us. The people around us giving problems, or the thinking that we have in the mind about the others around us, what he will think, what they will do, what he thinks about myself, or why did he think badly about me, why did he bother me during that occasion. So the party is outside, and the thoughts about the outside parties, that is the adi bhaudika. And third problem is the adi devika, due to the problems created by the nature, by God, the natural calamities, be it in the form of flood, be it in the form of volcanic eruption, or be it in the form of earthquakes, be it in the form of pandemics. So where ultimately we are getting affected in our mind. So when I say misery and suffering in life, these are the three different places of suffering, right? Through these three ways or three reasons, human beings suffer, and this is inescapable, right? And it affects our physical as well as the psychological well-being. So why we suffer in life? Basically, we all are trapped in the cycle of attachment and desire. And this is the foundation of human suffering. The cycle of attachment, the cycle of desire. This is the foundation of human suffering. When we say attachment, the tendency of the mind to bind itself, to an object, to an idea, to a person, to an outcome. The mind becoming binded, right? Why the mind is becoming binded? Because believing that these objects, be it a person, be it an idea, be it a new avenue of revenue generation, be it the output of an event that you are planning, be it the output of a karma that you plan to execute. So we believe that these kind of things will offer pleasure or fulfillment. Correct? And this kind of attachment naturally gives rise to desire, called as raga. What is ragam? What is desire? Desire is all about the urge or the craving. The urge or craving to what? To possess or experience what one is attached to. Right? I am attached to a person. I am attached to an idea. I am attached to some property. I am attached to some object. And what happens? The urge or craving that we possess. So the urge or craving to possess or experience those things, right? I for example, I buy a new car or thinking of buying a new car, urging or craving to possess the car and experience, and I am more attached. It is my car. After I get the car, it is I am attached to the car, whereas the car is not attached, I am attached to the car. So, and what is happening, I try to fulfill the desire, right? The ego is now saying that, yeah, you got the car and it is your car. And what happens, the once the desire is fulfilled, it is not getting stopped there. There is no end. What happens instead? Further, the mind creates additional desires, or the mind will say that, the intensity of enjoyment should be more out of these things, and it can also lead to greed, right? So what happens is basically newer and newer desires will arise. And what happens if the desire is not fulfilled, if the desire is thwarted? What happens? These negative emotions will come into our mind, right? Such as frustration, such as angry, such as disappointment. So, if the desires or the outcomes are opposite, what happens? Disappointment will come, frustration will come, anger will come. So what we will do? We will try to avoid such things, right? Because we create a dvesha. We will create a dvesha, right? I should not undergo such kind of things. So what happens basically when we attach to things? See, the emotional churn leads to more and more attachment as the mind continues to believe happiness is found by clinging to those objects, and this is an endless loop. And what happens is basically this becomes psychologically exhausting affair also. So you may ask, you are asking to not to desire. It is not like that. So here the problem is the psychological exhaustion happens when we depend upon the external objects to fulfill ourselves. So how to break this? How to break this cycle is only through detachment. And what is detachment? Here, detachment is the right understanding. Detachment is all about understand the impermanent nature of all phenomena and reduce the mind's identification with the pleasure and pain. In a small village, in that village, an age-old technique these villagers used to have for what? For trapping the monkeys. The monkeys used to come and attack things. So the villagers, they have got an age-old technique to trap the monkey. These villagers, they place a jar. The jar is designed in such a way that the neck is very narrow. And in this jar, with the narrowed neck, they fill with nuts, where monkeys love the nuts, right? The jar's opening is just enough for the monkey's hand to go inside. Basically, to slip the hand inside the jar, that opening is sufficient. But if you take the nuts and close the hand, basically when you form a fist, when you grasp and close, when you close the hand tightly, what happens? This neck, through the neck, the monkey cannot take out the hand. And inevitably, this curious monkey will come along with the smell, right? With the smell that these delicious nuts give inside, from inside the jar. So monkey will come with curiosity and it puts the hand inside and grabs a gistful. By that time, the villager will come. What happens? No, the monkey is still refusing to release the nuts. If it releases the nuts, easily it can take out the hand. But whereas the monkey refused to release the nuts because don't want to let go. So this is a problem. That is why it got trapped. So though this story is used as a metaphor here the attachment is the trap. So if you see the monkey's story, is the monkey physically trapped or not? Please tell me. Is it physically trapped? Because the neck is designed in such a way that it can push the hand inside, and if you don't hold it, if you don't take anything from there, it can easily take out the hand. So the question here is the monkey physically trapped? No. So then is it psychologically trapped here? Yes. And what holds the monkey is, can you say it is the jar? We cannot say. Or its mechanism is not holding the monkey. What is holding the monkey? Monkey's own refusal to let go its attachment towards the nuts. That is the problem here. It is not the physical issue here or the design issue of the jar. It is basically the psychological refusal, monkey's own refusal to let go its attachment is a problem. In Srimad Bhagavata, in the Egadasha Skandha, there comes the verse Parigrahoi dukhaya yadyat priyadamam nranam anandam sukham apnodi tadvidvanestvagинчанah. Parigraham is what? Parigraham is the possession. Parigraham is the attachment. So attachment certainly causes suffering. For whatever is most dear to all of us, it becomes a source of pain. The more we cling to something, the more vulnerable are we to loss, to fear, to jealousy, to sorrow. Parigrahoi dukhaya yat priyadamam nranam anandam sukham apnodi tadvidvanestvagинчанah. So the wise, it is the wise basically see this world as a reason or a cause of sorrows and misery. Instead of depending on the world to be happy, the wise see the real limitless joy, ananda sukham, anandam sukham apnodi, anandam sukham. The real limitless joy, the wise see that it lies beyond the grasp of possessions, it lies beyond the roles, it lies beyond the emotional objects, it lies beyond the power that we have. They see the real joy, Anandam Sukham, lies beyond the grasp of the possessions or roles or emotional objects or whatever we possess in life. And how to live aginchana, live with an unattached mind, live with an unattached mind, free from inner need to possess, free from the inner need to possess, free from the inner need to control, free from the need to derive identity from things. You can use it for the sake of transactions, but don't create a need from within to control or possess or derive the identity from the objects. A wandering sadhu, he stayed under a tree. He lived, I would say, used to take the shelter under a tree during the night. And this sadhu was not having anything, but only a water pot and a blanket, a kamandalu and a blanket. One day, a thief crept up one night, hoping to steal something from the sadhu. So the sadhu who lives under the tree with nothing, with a kamandalu, with a water pot and a blanket. So thief with a lot of ambition crept up at that night, hoping to steal something big from this person. But after searching the sadhu's bag, the thief found nothing. It's quite obvious. Disappointed, what happened? The thief began to leave. So the sadhu noticed this thief and calmly said, "Hey, dear friend, you came here for something, right? And I am so sad that you could not get valuable stuff. Here is my blanket, you take this. Because it's very cold and today it's very cold. And look like you need it more than I do. Because you have to roam around, you have to do the job, do the duty of a thief. So this blanket will be more apt for you rather than I hold it. Because I saw your desperation to get something from me, and I am so sorry if I don't have anything. You take this. This becomes useful for you." So years later, that thief became a renunciate himself. He became a very wise person. And someone asked him, "What changed your mind to become a renunciate?" This person replied, "The man I tried to rob was the richest man I had ever met. He had nothing, yet he lacked nothing. He had nothing and he lacked nothing. So that way he is the richest man I had ever met in my life." So that changed. me. So, similar to the monkey, right? The monkey story, we were at monkey story. Is the monkey physically trapped? No. Monkey is only psychologically trapped. The monkey is unable to take out the hand after having a fistful of nuts. Right? Before holding those nuts, the monkey could push the hand inside. But the problem here is what? The monkey is psychologically trapped to let go those nuts. It is not physically trapped. Similarly, we all hold tightly like this monkey. What we hold with the fistful of things, what are those things? We hold tightly to the money, to the power, to status, to relationships. We hold tightly to recognitions. Not only the positive aspects, we hold tightly to the grudges. We hold tightly to the angry feeling towards people, towards someone who harmed, who talked against. And we also hold to our own self-image. See, what happens in life is basically we clutch into what should be instead of seeing what is. What should be. So we clutch into what should be, like the monkey. I should be taking nuts, and at the same time I should take out the hand also. So we clutch into what should be instead of seeing what is. So that is where Bhagavan Krishna comes up with a beautiful invitation to all of us. What is this invitation? Let go. And people often misinterpret detachment as, a denial in life or indifference in life. It is not about stopping things in our day-to-day life. It is not about stop loving. It is not about stop caring the people. It is not about stopping enjoyment in life. It is not at all related to indifference or denial in life. It is all about releasing the need to possess, releasing the need to control, releasing the need to cling. This is detachment. It is not about running away from family. It is not about running away from doing your own duty. It is not introducing any sort of lethargy or a slack. It is all about releasing the need that is coming from the mind, created by the ego, to possess, to control, or to claim. Simple. Similar to the monkey story, let us also reflect. When we are undergoing a pain, let us reflect upon what am I holding on to too tightly. This is the question that we have to ask. What am I holding on to too tightly that is creating a pain? Or, as I mentioned in the beginning, the three types of pains: Adhyatmikam, Adibhautikam, and Adidaivigam. So what beliefs or people or habits or outcomes am I unwilling to release? Who is disturbing me more? Which person is troubling me more? Can I forget about that? Forget about that incident? Or can I forget about that person? Or can I release the clinging habit of thinking about that incident and that person? Or can I release the outcome that happened during the particular occasion? So we have to ask this question. First question is, what am I holding on to too tightly that is creating misery and suffering in my life? What beliefs, what makes me, including people, my own habits or outcomes, that I am unwilling to release? Now the third reflection that we have to have is my desire bringing freedom, or is my desire keeping me stuck? Fourth reflection, if you get an answer for the third, then what might change if I simply let go? What will I undergo if I decide to simply let go? Let go the belief, let go the people, let go the habits, let go the outcomes. This is just a psychological relief. This is a shift in perspective. What is this? The beauty of, or the beauty to act, or the beauty to release, or beauty to let go. The act of release. The act of release that frees oneself from tensions and struggles. So what is the freedom here? The freedom is in release. Parigrahoi dukhaya yat yat priyadamam nranam anandam sukham apnodi tad vidwanastu akinchana. This is the freedom. This is the freedom in release. This is the freedom, parigraham, and being akinchana. Another beautiful story from Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't remember the exact canto or the chapter here. The story of a kite. The kite got a piece of meat, and this kite is trying to enjoy that meat, attempting to enjoy the meat. So as soon as the kite got the piece of meat, it takes flight with that meat in its beak. The other kites notice this. And what happened? The other kites violently started chasing this kite. And while it took the flight, in the process of flying, the other kites relentlessly attacked this kite. So the inner freedom in kite kicks in. The kite started thinking, why am I attacked? I am violently chased as well as violently, relentlessly attacked by the other kites. Why? So the kite decided to let go of the meat. Let go of the meat. What happened at that point of time? All those pursuers who were violently chasing and attacking immediately abandoned this kite. Every kite who chased immediately left this kite, immediately abandoned this kite, and now those pursuers turned their attention to fighting each other over the piece of meat. So the kite understood that releasing the piece of meat which is binding it, it released. The moment it released, what happened? It became free. So the misery and suffering in life comes out of the cycle of attachment and desire. This is the first and foremost aspect that we have to understand. And second is what? Second is all about the ignorance of our true identity. We all are very good at assuming different personalities, false self, through the influence of body, mind, intellect, senses, the possessions, the objects around us, the coordinates that we are operating at. Forgetfulness of our true nature, this is the ajnana. The ignorance of our true identity, true self versus false self. The true self is eternal, the true self is unchanging, the true self is the embodiment of existence, consciousness, bliss. And the true self is inherently free. The piece of meat is held by the mind, body, ego. The realm of attachment, the realm of possessions, everything is at the plane of the mind, body, ego. The true self is eternal, the true self is unchanging, the true self is the embodiment of existence, consciousness, bliss. The true self is the seat of awareness. The true self is inherently free. It is not bound by external circumstances. Forgetfulness of our true nature, forgetting our true identity as the eternal, and we identify ourselves solely with the body mind, is the root cause of human suffering. What we are doing is basically like in a movie, we mistake the actor for the character. We are mistaking the actor for the character. So similarly here we are confusing the self, the real truth within, the Atman within us, with what? With the ego and the body. First is basically what? The cycle of desire and cycle of, I hope you all are listening.
Attachment.
Yes, cycle of desire and attachment. Second is what? Second is of all about the ignorance of our true identity. And third is basically the misuse of our free will. When we have the freedom within us, when we have got the freedom to choose our thoughts, when we have got freedom to act in life, when we have freedom to choose our attitudes toward things, when we have the freedom to make conscious choices, we are not doing that. What we are doing, we are misusing that free will in terms of self-centered desires rather than for a bigger cause. Self-centered desires. We are misusing the free will by neglecting the duty, the swadharmam, the dharmam. We are neglecting that free will in such a way that we act on impulses and basically we react in life, and we misuse our life by mandating that the materialistic attachments are the important thing in my life. So acting in knowledge is what is needed, deep rooted in the self knowledge, and understand the higher purpose in life rather than the lower desires. So in today's verses, we can see at verse number 30, Bhagavan is now concluding what is the nature of the self. Hey Arjuna, please don't grieve. You are totally confused. So the knowledge about the true self and the higher purpose is stressed in the verse number 30. Let us chant it together. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. देहि नित्यं अवध्य अयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. देहि नित्यमवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्माद् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. हे भारत, हे Arjuna, the Dehi, the indweller in the bodies of all beings, is Nityam Avadhya Ayam, eternal and imperishable. The indweller in the bodies of all beings is not destructible, is imperishable, is eternal. Right? So, Dehi in all Deham, Sarvasya Deham, the Dehi who is the indweller of the body is eternal and imperishable. This Dehi is eternal and imperishable. Hey Bharata, please understand that. So therefore, Tasmad Sarvani Bhutani, in all beings, right? You should not grieve. Na Tvam Shojitum, to grieve. Hence, you should not grieve for any being because the Dehi is indestructible. So, the body is perishable. What are you? You are the imperishable witness. When you say the Nityam Avadhya Ayam, you are the imperishable witness and you are not the perishable body. Hey Arjuna, please understand that importance should be given to the imperishable witness. When we anchor the identity in the imperishable self, when we anchor our identity with the imperishable self, who is the witness, who is eternal, the disappointments from the material things lose their power over you. Right now, the problem is basically the misidentification of the self with the body, mind, intellect, sense plane. Na tvam shojidam arhasi. Don't grieve, do not grieve. We all know the story of Socrates, the Greek philosopher. When Socrates was sentenced to death, he was asked to consume poison. See, he calmly drank the poison without anger or fear, with absolute courage, with absolute peace. And people who were watching, they started becoming emotional and they started crying, and Socrates himself said, "It will affect my peace. You may please go out of this place." He has got the deep knowledge that he is not the body but the immortal self. When everyone was emotionally upset, he himself gave the courage to them that I am not this body, I am the immortal self. And at that point, Crito asked, "How should we bury you, Socrates?" A person who is still alive is asking, "How should we bury you?" See here, the great master Socrates greeted Crito and said, "Before you ask how should I bury you, you must first catch me, the real me. You should catch the real me before you ask how should I bury you." This is not a philosophy, this is not a theory. It is the real experience of the philosopher. You first catch the real me and then do with whatever you do for others to bury the body. So here Arjuna, please understand, the Dehi is the indweller of all beings, of all Deham, and the true identity of all of us is the Dehi. Dehi has the experience, consciousness, bliss principle. Verse number 31. Swadharmamavichavekshya na vigambidumarhasi dharmyadhi yuddhat shreyonyad kshatriyasya na vidyate. Swadharmam api cha avekshya na vigambidum arhasi dharmyad hi yuddhad sreyaha anyad kshatriyasya na vidyate. Swadharmam api cha avekshya na vigambidum arhasi dharmyadhi yuddhad shreyovanyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. What is honorable for a kshatriya, for a warrior? There is nothing more honorable for a kshatriya or a warrior like you, Arjuna, than to fight a righteous battle. Dharma Yuddha. So, hence, please consider your own duty What is the duty? To righteously fight the battle, and don't waver that. Don't tailor it. Don't customize it. Don't run away from that. Correct. See, when we are interviewed for jobs in the industry, on what basis we all apply for a job? What is the basis for us to apply for a job? Or if a consultant calls you, what will you ask first?
Relevant education.
Relevant education is one thing, but what beyond that? What the company is looking for, right? The job description.
The job description.
So when you say the skills, the job JD has the essential. The expectation of the essential skills. You should be a graduate. You should be a doctor. You should be a pilot with these many flying hours, with international flying experience, right? For all of us, when we are hired, their essential skill is mentioned in the JD, job description. Similarly, hey Arjuna, your job description is what? As a Yodha, you have to fight the Dharma Yuddham. Or just see, if a firefighter, right? What is the job of a firefighter? Firefighter, he has to put out a fire. And if the firefighter says, yeah, this is a very tedious affair, when I put out the fire, it becomes too warm and I'm not comfortable. Can a firefighter say like that? Or we do have doctors in our satsang. So a surgeon who is backing out, what is the reason? Scared of the sight of blood. Is that accepted? It is called as what? Misalignment with your duty. The management will say, you have violated your duty, you did not act. Am I right? So similarly, Arjuna, you are supposed to do this. Your JD has already mentioned these things. And don't allow misalignment with the duty. That should not happen. And it is highly honorable for you to fight this. So please don't run away. Verse number 32. Yedrichaya chopapannam swargadvaramapavrutam suhinakshatriya partha labhande yuddhamidrisham yedrichaya cha upapannam swargadvaramapavrutam sukhinaha kshatriya partha labhande yuddham idrisham. Yadricha, a very, very, very profound word, profound term in this. What is Yadricha? Yadricha is the divine will, the divine mission that is supposed to happen through you, Arjuna. For anybody, for any one of us, right? Who are in the path, or who is progressing in the path of truth with our own inherent traits. You cannot run away from your Swadharma. Similarly, hey Arjuna, you are forwarding in the path of truth. As a Yodha, you are supposed to do the Dharma Yuddham with your own inherent traits, the capabilities and the skills that are needed for a Yodha. You possess that, you are in the path of progression, you are forwarding in the path of truth. This war will be the foundation for your own upliftment. Bhagavan says the term here, Yadrichya, because this will lead to your nivritti in life. This pravritti as a yoga, right, with your own capabilities and traits, and this pravritti, this war will become the foundation of your own upliftment called as the nivritti. This pravritti will release you from this. That is where I am saying. The let go will also happen in you. The nivritti margam will come when you execute this pravritti. Because the yadricha is there. This will is there. You are in the path of truth and you are in the forward trajectory with your capabilities. So let this war be the foundation for your own upliftment. Even if you lose the war, there is no problem. There is no degradation happening in your life, in your stress. So please take this opportunity to act with the right knowledge and the traits which are needed without deteriorating the intent of a yodha, of a warrior. So act with knowledge. So Bhagavan here says, like in modern ads, just grab it, right? So like in cricket, when some players are not there, the people who are the auxiliary, they will feel happy. They grab and bat. Similarly, you just grab this Arjuna and act. This is the right moment, right? In another way, in management terms, we say this is a light moment also. Light moment meaning the eureka moment. So please act, grab and do. Because it is already landed on your lap. Just execute. Verse number 33. Achachetvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tadaswadharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapsyasi adha ched tvam imam dharmyam sangramyam na karishyasi tataha swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. So if you don't fight, this is a righteous war, this is a swadharma. What will happen? You will fail in executing your duty. What will happen? Tadwara, you will lose your reputation. And papam, right, you will also incur sin. So when you are avoiding your duty which you are entitled to do, you will lose your honor, you will lose your purpose in life. And again, this is a dharma yuddham. As per Bhagavan Krishna, this is a collective effort for a greater cause. So sin in this context is a deviation. So a deviation. See, otherwise what happens is if you are entitled to act and if you don't do that, that pricking feeling will come. If Arjuna takes a break here, if Arjuna runs away, he cannot have peace of mind. If he go to Himalaya and try to settle, he still will be thinking about, I should have done that war. What is happening there? So he cannot get a peace of mind. Here the sin is the deviation from the swadharmam. And this deviation in doing the duty will become an obstacle in one's path of liberation. So through this pravritti, Bhagavan says you attain the nivritti. That is where the yadricha that term comes here. So when you run away, this running away will become a deviation. This running away will become an obstacle in your path of liberation, hey Arjuna. So non-doing here is basically the sin. Non-doing of one's dharma is the sin, which is referred here. Verse number 34. Akirtim chabhibhutani kadayishyanti te vyayam sambhavidasya cha kirti maranadadirichyate. Akirtim cha abhibhutani kadayishyanti te avyayam sambhavidasya cha akirti maranat atirichyate. People will obviously dishonor you. This is really going to affect your reputation, Arjuna. Your achievements as a Yodha will get erased. Everything will get erased. And your Agirti Maranad Adirichyade. And this dishonor will become surely a worse thing than death. A Yodha like you, a Maharathan like you, hey Arjuna, please understand this. This is the Dharma Yuddham. You have to fight. Otherwise, people will dishonor you and it will affect your reputation. And this is surely, worse than death. Verse number 35, 36 together. Bhayad ranadu baradam mamsyande tvam maharada yesham chatvam bahumado bhutva yasya silaghavam avajyavadamscha bahun vadishyanti tavahita nindandastava samarthyam tado dukkhadaram nukim. So these two verses basically says again, your the peers, your the great warriors, the chariot warriors, what will they think? They will think that you are withdrawing and running away. You are withdrawing out of fear. And you will become highly insignificant. You were highly respected, right, till this time. And you will become highly insignificant. And your enemies will also mock your capabilities. They will slander your strength. And they will speak ill about you, Arjuna. Right? So, now the question is, what will be more painful than these kind of things? So, hado va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krida nischaya. So, certainly you will go to the higher realms. Right? You will prapsasi swargam jitva va pokshase mahim. So you will go to higher realms, Arjuna. You should not worry too much about success or failure. If you see the startup mindset, startup companies do, they take risk. If it works, you will succeed. If it flops, you will learn from the failure. We all take risk. Right? Similarly, here your concern is whether you will succeed or fail. You take risk. Either you get the kingdom or you get a retirement plan. You take charge of the kingdom or you retire. Either way you will win, don't worry. You are now too much bothered about the future. That is where the fear comes to you. So what is left to fear? Either you get a kingdom or something better than that. Either way you will win, Arjuna. So you are not the body, you are beyond the body. Don't grieve, do your duty, and duty is sacred and you embrace it. And And if you avoid your purpose, it brings shame on you, it brings criticism, it brings loss of honor, and that will hurt more than the failure. You win by acting with courage, Arjuna. Here, what is your sadharma? Right? So, here the question, what is holding me back? Is it fear or loss of comfort? So, if it is loss of comfort, if it is fear, you need to understand, you need to gain courage. So, Bhagavan Krishna says the courage guided by righteousness always pays off. So, hey Arjuna, don't too much bother about whether you succeed or fail. What is holding you back? You understand that. Have courage, guided by righteousness, and it will pay off. Right? So you build a life based on the values, not just anything else. So just get up and fight. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.